and welcome along to the Match Champions League special as Real Madrid are preparing to host Galatasaray in the Champions League on Wednesday evening at the Santiago Bernabeu. The Whites looking for the points they need to guarantee their place in the last 16. Sid Lowe is with me as ever to preview the game. Sid, welcome along.
Thanks very much.
Now, given that they've beaten Galatasaray already 6-1 this season, plus they're in superb scoring form, this should be quite straightforward for Real Madrid.
Theoretically, at least, it should be. I think there's a slight doubt or a slight risk, isn't there, which is that sometimes when you go into a game in a situation like this in which you're scoring lots of goals, and Madrid's goal scoring record over the last 6 or 7 games has been extraordinary, when you're up against a team that you've already scored 6 against away from home and then you come to play them at home, the risk in a way is that everybody expects it. That rather than being an opportunity, it gets almost seen as an obligation. But I think the bottom line is that Real Madrid should win relatively comfortably.
No Cristiano Ronaldo, of course. He's been ruled out of the game with that small knock that he picked up against Almería at the weekend. It's not too serious, then.
No, it's not a big deal. Carlo Ancelotti today said that he wouldn't be able to play this game, but he might be able to play at the weekend against Valladolid. I suppose the doubt would be that then after that, the following weekend is a Copa del Rey game for which he's suspended. So it could be that there'd be a temptation to say, right, take 2 weeks off, be really fired up when you come back, be really ready, have a bit of a break, clear your mind. The problem with that theory is that I suspect the person who believes in it least is Ronaldo himself. I suspect that right now, particularly because he's been playing so well, because it feels like the momentum is unstoppable at the moment, I think he will be genuinely frustrated to miss this game, even if it is a Champions League game, which up to a point is not a big danger for Real Madrid, and up to a point doesn't feel like it matters that much. I think every game matters for Ronaldo because he seems to be on this just incredible crusade at the moment. And I think that I think he'll be frustrated with it. But then we'll see. I mean, he'll be fit perhaps for Valladolid. If not, then 2 weeks' time, it's not a big deal. You
expect Angel Di Maria to come in?
Yeah, I think so. I know there are a couple of options. The other maybe would be Jesse, who I thought played very well at the weekend against Almería. And personally, he's a player that I really quite like. He transmits that sense of confidence that's a real conviction about the way he plays. He takes people on. He's dynamic. He's brave. But I think Angel Di Maria, because I think Ancelotti is in a process now. At least I believe he is in a process now where he's looking at his squad and he's looking at how he manages his squad, both physically but also emotionally. And I think he recognises that, right, these injuries are a problem, but they're also an opportunity to try people in certain positions, to see how well they slot in, and to make sure that those players who deep down know that when the big game comes and there's a starting 11, they're probably not going to be in it. But he needs those players to feel like participants in what Real Madrid are doing, wants them to feel involved, and wants to know that at the moment at which he has to call upon them, they're tuned in, they're focused, they're aware of what they're doing. And I think that's a reason to give minutes to players like Angel Di Maria.
Well, let's hear from the manager himself. Carlo Ancelotti has been speaking at the pre-match press conference, and he's been speaking about how he might address the problem of not having Cristiano Ronaldo.
Tenemos Di María disponible, puede ser que podemos jugar con Di María o...
We have Di Maria available. We could play with Di Maria or with Jesse, who replaced Ronaldo and did very well in the game against Almería. We have 2 options, and I will decide on Wednesday.
Voy a decidir mañana. Creo que ofensivamente hemos jugado muy bien, tenemos mucha eficacia enfrente.
I think in attack we have played very well. We have been efficient in front of goal, and the whole team is helping. We're playing an attacking style of football, and the defenders and midfielders are helping also in attack. We also need the whole team to help defensively as well.
Los medios, los defensores ayudan para el ataque. Necesitamos que todo el equipo trabaje defensivamente.
We're doing well, we're improving, and we just need to keep going.
Necesitamos seguir.
Carlo Ancelotti speaking at the pre-match press conference. Right, let's take a look at who Sid thinks is going to start for Real Madrid against Galatasaray. He's already said that Angel Di Maria might come into the side.
Yeah, and that's the logical choice in the line of 3 up front. Isco, who played well behind them in the game against Almería. Iyarramendi and Casemiro, the reason for that is that Ancelotti today I think implied quite heavily, didn't he, that Xabi Alonso wouldn't play, that he would rather give Alonso a break and look after him. Of course, Rafa Varane will be out for 10 to 14 days, but as they make sure that the swelling on his knee comes down, which we don't think is serious, but they've got to be very, very cautious with that, because I think Varane's going to be a hugely important player for the rest of the season. Coentrao is also injured, which explains Marcelo at left-back, although, to be honest, I suspect Marcelo would probably have played at left-back anyway. And also, because you've got no Varane, it means Pepe and Ramos, which means no chance for Ramos to play at right-back, which means, of course, it's Arbeloa at right back, unless he would have chosen Carvajal, but I'm going for Arbeloa.
OK, that's Sid's starting 11 for the game at the Santiago Bernabeu on Wednesday evening against Galatasaray. No real surprises there in the starting lineup. You've been quite clear, quite thorough in your explanation there. Let's just remind ourselves how the group is currently standing. Real Madrid, of course, are top of their Champions League group. 6 points clear. Things looking very, very good indeed for Real Madrid. Like we said, you just need a point to be mathematically through. But looking at the 2 games that are left, you would have thought that they would be more than capable.
I don't think there's any doubt. I think that what's going to be very interesting is the combination of results between Galatasaray, Copenhagen and Juventus, because there's virtually nothing to choose between the 2nd and the 4th, and yet in terms of what it produces for them after Christmas is enormous, the difference between finishing 2nd and 4th. Obviously 2nd carries on in the Champions League, 3rd goes into the Europa League, and 4th gets absolutely nothing. And at the moment, obviously, you look at it and you think, wow, Juventus could go out completely. I think the way that the fixture list looks, I suspect Juventus will make it through now.
OK, well, that's all we've got time for on this edition of The Match. Don't forget, keep your comments and opinions coming to us via Twitter using the hashtag TheMatchRM, and don't forget to subscribe to the official Real Madrid YouTube channel. The match in question is Real Madrid against Galatasaray. It's an 8:45 kickoff on Wednesday at the Santiago Bernabeu. From Sid and myself, it's adios.